Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us on today's session. Welcome to Manufacturing and Distribution Essentials. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I am going to be today's host. We're so excited to have you with us. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, and we are going to show you 5 solutions in 30 minutes. So it's going to be fast. It's going to be a little bit chaotic potentially, but hopefully we'll have some fun. You know, if you've been on one of our webinars before, this is going to be just like the others. You are on mute, but that does not mean we don't want to hear from you. In the chat, we'd love to hear where you're joining us from throughout the session. You can ask questions at any time, whenever you have them. Don't hesitate. And then we're going to have a Q&A towards the last 30 minutes. So just like usual, we just want to keep that background noise to a minimum, but we definitely want to hear from you. Okay, so to kick things off, we are going to play a quick game of myth or fact. We're going to bust some myths today about technology and software in the manufacturing and distribution industry. So I'm going to bring all my presenters on stage with us so we can say hello before we get started with the main event. Let me get you all up here. We've got a lot of them with us today. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Hey, do you guys have your myth or facts ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to play some myth or fact before we dive into today's presentation. We've got, 5 wonderful presenters with us on screen. They're all going to have just 4 minutes to show you a sneak peek of their solution. All of these solutions integrate with Sage ERPs, Acumatica ERPs, and they can all work in conjunction with each other. So we're so excited to have them do a quick sneak peek. They've got just 4 minutes, and then I'm going to pull them right off stage. So to kick things off, I want to know from you guys, myth or fact, small to mid-sized companies can't afford integrated supply chain technology. I think this one might be a bit of a setup. Yeah, we start easy. I see the myths out there. Mariah's is blurry. Okay. It happens. Okay, let's hit it with another one. EDI, is it only worth it if you're doing business with major retailers? Dang, lots of myths. Okay. Third one, most manufacturers and distributors are still relying on spreadsheets for inventory management. Fact, yeah, I think we've all seen, I think everyone maybe has one too many spreadsheets they have to go to back and forth out there. Okay, we've got 2 more. Implementing warehouse barcoding will slow down operations initially. Oh, myths all across the. I was intrigued to see if we were all in agreement. Okay. Last but not least, real-time visibility across your supply chain requires expensive technology. Wow, myths all across the board. You guys are very cohesive today. Okay, it's probably because you guys all work so well in the space. So we're going to kick it off. I'm going to take some of our presenters off stage. They'll be back in just a moment. And I am going to hand it over, get everyone off there, to Mariah to kick us off. Are you ready for your 4 minutes, Mariah?
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay, I'm going to go off screen and hand it over to you. Kick us off for our first session.
All right. Thanks, everyone. My name is Mariah Flynn, and I'm a channel manager here at Netstock. And today I'm going to be reviewing 4 tools to tackle tariffs in 4 minutes. So first off, Netstock is a cloud-based supply and demand planning platform that was made by supply chain experts specifically for SMBs. Today, I'm not going to be talking about, these really high-level, drastic supply chain tariff mitigation strategies, but more around 4 key pieces of functionality that exist in Netstock inherently that SMBs are using every day to help them mitigate tariff issues. So the first is real-time scenario planning. Obviously, tariffs are impacting a bunch of stuff, including things like lead times and costs. And being able to model that when those changes happen is incredibly important. You can do that directly in Netstock and not only understand the impact at the lowest level of detail, which would be the item level, looking at future inventory levels and future purchase orders, but you can also look at it at an aggregate level across your entire supply chain. On the left-hand side here, where the colorful boxes are, at the top, you'll see letters, so AH, AL, so on and so forth. That is referencing what we call our dual classification. So in NetStock, every single item is classified based on value and velocity. And not only is it a better way to set up your purchasing policies and do some of this modeling, but it's also a great way to just help with prioritization efforts. You know, if you're working on a handful of items and you're trying to figure out where to start, you know which items are creating the most value for your business right at your fingertips. The second is intelligent inventory redistribution. So tariffs are impacting our supply, which means that we need to do the best with the inventory that we already have in our network. And sometimes that means inventory sitting in the wrong place. So with our excess redistribution module, we help businesses balance out their supply chain. So you can run this module in NetStock and you'll get real-time transfer recommendations between two of your physical warehouse locations. You'll receive the location, the items, the quantities, and the value of the transfer. And the great part about NetStock is that it's not just insights. We also help you create these transfers by allowing you to download them out of NetStock back into your ERP. The third is reliable forecasting. A robust forecast engine is always necessary, but becomes increasingly necessary during times of disruption. So our forecasting algorithm has the ability to pick up on recent trends, but it also gives you the flexibility to make adjustments to the forecast at the lowest level of detail, also at an aggregate level. And our planning horizon can look over 12 all the way up to 24 months. And then last but not least, if we're talking about mitigating disruption, we also have to talk about safety stock. Those two, I feel like, just go hand in hand. The issue is that a lot of businesses are trying to plan to what we call static minimums, and it's not giving them the agility that they need during dynamic times. So in NetStock, we have a dynamic calculation for safety stock based on the 5 parameters that you see below. This is actually a screenshot right out of the interface. We calculate in days, and then we'll convert it into units based on the demand for the good. So you can spend your time on the 10,000 other things that you have to do to effectively manage your supply chain and not have to worry about safety stock. We'll make sure you have the right safety stock at the right time. And those are just 4 ways how businesses are jumping out of their Excel spreadsheets and jumping into NetStock. Thank you.
Right, you absolutely crushed it. I don't know, you were 1 second on the dot. I can't believe it. She's good at timing, everyone. Okay, thanks, Mariah. We're gonna kick you off. We're gonna bring Rodney on stage. Hey, Rodney, how you doing?
Hey, big shoes to fill. 1 second. I don't know if I can beat that.
Okay, well, here you go. Let's head it off. And, you know, I missed at the beginning to tell everyone we are going to send this recording out. We're going to send out resources, so no need to make a list. We're going to send you, you know, names, links, everything you need to keep track of these. So take it away, Rodney.
Thank you. Hopefully everyone's having a great week. I'm Rodney Manzo. I'm the founder of Anvil, now Sage Supply Chain Intelligence. We are a cloud-native source-to-pay supply chain orchestration platform that focuses on bringing collaboration, visibility, intelligence across the first mile, from really an RFQ to PO management to inbound logistics. So anything from pre-PO to when a good arrives into a warehouse and distribution center. And why we're here is pretty simple. Throughout my career, this is what I would see. If you're managing your supply chain, it's a spaghetti bowl. Different tools, different people, different processes, and everything's intertwined, but it's impossible to see where one piece of that spaghetti begins and another ends. So a lot of times just wasted being on phones or on emails. And what that creates is a world of out of stocks or overstocks. And we're seeing that more and more today. And every year we do a state of supply chain where we pull thousands of companies. And what we see is things like tariff impacts, port closures, or lanes being closed. And people are just not really confident in what they're doing. You see 21% of brands feel extremely confident in managing disruption, meaning 80% do not, which is pretty troubling. And what we see is that if you're just working in an ERP, it doesn't keep up. An ERP is amazing as a financial tool, but it doesn't extend it to the world of supply chain across that first mile. What's happening with suppliers, your freight forwarders, or logistics providers? And really, that's where we come in. And what we try to do is we connect all these dots that are very manual, very siloed and disconnected, and bring everything together in one tool. And we're very agnostic. So it doesn't matter who you're working with, anyone here today, or even externally from that. At Sage, we're very universal and we want to build a network. So even if you're using NetSuite, if you're using non-Sage products, we connect and we distribute real-time collaboration, intelligence, and visibility, so everyone's staying on top. And just a little plug, if you look us up, we are the top-rated solution in the market and really focus on making it easier to manage your supply chain.
You thought you couldn't do it, Rodney, and you absolutely crushed it with timing.
30 seconds probably since I saw you come on, give or take.
Yeah. I did. Anything to final wrap up before we hand it off?
No, excited to share more. Please feel free to reach out, rodney.manzo@sage, and happy to share any information.
Yes, and like Rodney says, we will have a quiz later on. So if you want to learn more about any of these solutions, 4 minutes is not even close enough time for them to tell you anything. We're happy to connect you. So thank you, Rodney. I'm going to bring on Bill. Bill, are you ready to take it away?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's go.
Awesome. Well, hey everyone, Bill Gosted from SPS Commerce. If you're not familiar, SPS Commerce, we are a full service global supply chain solution organization, really working with retailers and buying orgs, suppliers or brands, typically in the manufacturing, distribution ecosystem, and logistics providers. I will say I love this idea in terms of 4 minutes because I tend to be long-winded and this forces me to be short. So I'll just jump in. So actually very similar to Rodney in terms of graphic and visual. And if this slide gives you nightmares, the willies, hopefully not smiles, you're in the right place, and then know you're not alone. Like I mentioned, we work across the ecosystem, and traditionally we worked with organizations selling into retail. That's obviously expanded over the past several years where they have had to find additional sales channels, whether that being to other retailers, so other wholesale channels, to direct to consumer, whether that being through marketplaces or e-commerce platforms, or even drop shipping on behalf of retailers. And if you have any experience with that, you know each fulfillment model has different requirements by retailer, and then two, by fulfillment model has different ways they want and need to connect. So as you can imagine, for the brand or supplier, it can get very complex very quickly. And then you marry that into the other partners in their supply chain, whether that being logistic providers around 3PLs, co-packers, freight brokers, and then suppliers. I mean, we're seeing a huge influx of this in terms of today's climate of working with strategic suppliers, whether that be new or existing, or a large group of suppliers to fulfill those products back to those sales channels, ship them on time, whether that being to the brands, whether that be your warehouse or your 3PL. And as you can imagine, when you have all these different parties, orchestrating streamlined data and accurate data becomes very messy very quickly. And that's where we come into play. Again, for the past 25 years, whether you are a selling org, a buying org, a logistics providers, or in some cases more than one of these, as we're seeing that quite a bit, EDI is still the mechanism to send and receive that data. And what we've seen on that front, just to give you some insight, is because traditionally we're working with brands selling into buying orgs that require it. They're flipping that script, meaning now they're like, well, I'm investing the technology and resources to be compliant with my customers. How can I adopt that technology or deploy that technology with my supplier community? What's really interesting is I'm sure you've seen it, your suppliers could be at different places in their life cycle, at different pieces of technology, their appetite could be different. Where we come into play is we remove that barrier to make it easier for you to automate your workflow, both with your customers and your suppliers. Secondly, I'll touch on is we're starting to see more and more brands and suppliers saying, well, I have more than one sales channel, but I would like one platform to be able to ingest all that. We're able to work with the clients now, whether that be PDF orders. Again, I mentioned traditional retail and marketplace and e-commerce. And then lastly, revenue recovery. So if you're selling into Walmart, Target, Amazon, several other retailers, and you've hit been hit with deductions, fines, or the term chargebacks, we should probably have a conversation. We've been able to deploy solutions to help our clients identify those, prioritize those, and then fight those chargebacks, which has been really interesting for our brand customers. Now, how do we do that? I mean, very similar to Rodney, we work across platforms, including Sage, Acumatica. But just knowing the Sage ecosystem is tried and true to our heart. We have the technology, the expertise internally, and the relationships with SDED UK and Sage as a publisher. How'd I do, Courtney?
You had 3 seconds to spare. I am mind blown. I'm mind blown at all of you, just absolutely crushing it. I thought I'd have to take my cane, pull people off the stage, so to speak, but thank you, Bill. We're gonna switch it over now. Okay, and let's bring on Ben. Hey Ben,
Courtney.
how you doing?
Good, how are you?
So we've seen some EDI, we've seen some inventory optimization, some supply chain solution. Ben is going to take us into the world of barcoding and warehousing. So Ben, take it away. Your timer is starting now.
Perfect. Well, hi everyone. I'm Benjamin Weiss. I'm our VP of Business Development here at Endpoint Automated Solutions. Many of you may know us from our previous name, which was Scanco. So I'm going to talk a little bit about barcoding and warehousing in a WMS solution. So first, you can finally trust your inventory. A lot of times, many of you are running into manual tracking. You're using a clipboard. There's a lot of different aspects that are there. So every time and every location, you're able to streamline that into your ERP in real time. So the endpoint warehouse gives you real-time visibility into every product, location, movement within your warehouse, with no spreadsheets, no lag, no errors. And again, all of that instantly reflects into your ERP, whether that's your Sage Intacct, your Sage 100, or your Acumatica. How it works. You have a mobile scanners. So whether that's a Zebra scanner, whether that's one that's on an iOS system, that you have, we have a mobile app that you download and allows you to scan that and validate it and update it into your movement of inventory. So every scan during receiving, put away, picking, or shipping, it syncs with locations, quantity, lot, and serial details as well. So you get the wireless handhelds, bidirectional ERP syncs that ensures total inventory accuracy. Many of you may be running into stockouts. So this eliminates stockouts for good. It's real-time inventory updates that leave yourselves confident and keeps your customers happy with no more lost revenue. Again, everything flows back into the ERP. It natively sits on all of those platforms. You've heard it already about chargebacks and back orders. So again, these are things that are able to help you avoid some of those costly aspects and lost sales. Accurate orders every time. So the scan validation ensures that the right product ships to the right customers. There's no mispacks, no returns, no angry calls. We have license plating available with a functionality that's embedded already. So again, lot and serial validation, ERP reflects correct time shipments immediately. You get to end mispack mayhem and putaways are done right. These scans verify every move. So they instantly update that ERP with every scan because it's embedded there. You get to pick, pack, and ship correctly the first time. You get to reduce customer complaints and don't have to worry about reships. There's no lag or missing stocks. Incoming inventory is scanned, assigned instantly. There's no days later, ensuring that the warehouse accuracy and availability. Again, all of that is automated with location assists so that you and your team will know exactly where these items are at all times. And then finally, you get to stop wasting hours with manual counts. Many of you will do physical counts or manual counts, whether that is on a quarterly basis, a monthly basis, or definitely a year-end basis. We just had a customer come to us chose our solution because they were writing off about $500,000 a year because they didn't want to do any of the manual counts, physical counts at the end of the year. So this allows you guys to do this from a hands-free inventory updates. You eliminate manual cycle counts. You get to relocate labor to revenue driving work. And that's all I got, Courtney.
You guys are you're right on time too. I mean, I'm truly mind blown today. And, you know, if you guys have been on some of our other sessions with ScanCo, you know, they're Endpoint now, same amazing solutions. I'm always mind blown by the automation tools that you guys share on these sessions. So thanks, Ben. We're going to pass it over to last but not least. Let me find, where's John at? Hey, John, how you doing?
Hi, I'm here.
Awesome. You ready?
I'm ready.
Take us away.
Right. Thanks so much, Courtney. Again, my name's John. I am the Director of Partnerships at FreightPop. We are a transportation management system supply chain solution that is natively integrated with Sage and Acumatica, amongst other ERPs. This is a little remiss of speed dating, so I'm going to try to not talk fast and really let you guys understand who I am here. But ultimately, like I said, FreightPop is an AI TMS, and what that means is that we look at the entire supply chain holistically, and we integrate with everyone that has already spoken on this webinar before to not only enrich their data sets and their functionality by data we push to them, but also vice versa. FreightPop is made stronger by every other company that is presented so far. And so ultimately what FreightPop's workflow looks like starts with operational planning. We work mostly with manufacturers and distributors that have what we would call complex supply chain profiles, right? Where you're shipping multi-modes, you're shipping all sorts of different modes all day, every day from multiple locations, inbound and outbound, right? And so at the beginning, understanding exactly what product classifications, SKUs, weights, dimensions, zips, to and froms, address validators, all of the stuff that is required to get an accurate quote from a carrier across any mode, right? Is kind of set up in FreightPop on the planning side. Then that's when the AI takes over. We've successfully rolled out what we call no-click shipping, right? Which is essentially all of the rules, algorithms, and most recently MCP layer with an LLM attached is able to execute on all of your shipments, right? Going out to the national carrier network or even your own fleet and coming back with labels, tracking information, landed cost, all of that. Being written right back into the ERP to maintain, kind of the original system of record. We've heard a lot about tariffs and the way that those are impacting shippers, as well as kind of the most recent NMFC changes with carriers changing to a density, pricing kind of calculator. The audit portion via SPS and our integration with them, EDI pulling in carrier invoices to be able to scrub against the original quote, helps us catch reclassifications, misways, chargebacks, anything like that before it actually becomes a real problem. And then of course, business intelligence with all the data that we have, we're able to kind of put everything into whatever the system of record is so that customers are able to use all of their data, not just FreightPop siloed data, to make better decisions. Like I said, we are integrated with all of these systems. We have what we call external bilateral API integrations with all of these systems. And then we also have native embedded versions as well, right? And so we are an ERP agnostic, but for you Sage and Acumatica users, I think that the majority on this call are, we have both native and external integrations for use. And then finally, as we know, since COVID, logistics and supply chain transportation cost has become kind of a top 3 line item on the P&L versus, kind of a top 10. So things are costing a lot more than they used to. And so FreightPop has always and will continue to almost exclusively sell on ROI, right? Our features are fantastic, but they don't make they don't make any sense if we're not saving more than we're putting in. And so we see an average of 30% reduction in shipping costs across the board. And then the rest of this is savings in headcount, maybe repurposing, right? Increasing in on-time deliveries that helps customers stay stickier and happier in the long run. So yeah, I think we're gonna move to Q&A. So happy to answer any questions. Thanks so much for setting this up, Courtney.
Yeah, you did it, John. And that 95% decrease in shipping processing time, that is a huge, I mean, that's almost 100%. That's crazy.
Some customers, we can get them down to 100%. They just got to have their ish together, so to speak.
Awesome. Well, John is correct. We are going into Q&A. So I'm going to get these slides off the screen and we're going to bring all of our other presenters on. So give me one moment as I do all of our technical things backstage. Okay, let's get Rodney. We've got Bill. We've got Mariah. And last but not least, we've got Ben. Hey, everyone. Can you believe that you did it? Can everyone believe they hit their 4 minutes?
Not really. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. Yeah.
I gotta be honest, you guys, I don't have as much faith in you as I should have. You guys were all like right on time. So I'm sure the audience has some questions. I have some questions. We've already had a few submitted. So we're gonna spend our last 4 minutes going through some Q&A. I'm gonna cover, the very first one that I think, we've talked about some, but people might have is, can these solutions work together? So one more time for everyone. These solutions, I think we've got a lot of Sage 100, Intact, Acumatica customers out there. All these solutions will integrate directly with your ERP, other ERPs as well, if we've got them out there in the audience. And then all these solutions, as John said, they can work as a full tech stack, they can work individually, and really round out, all those things that you need to optimize within your business. So now that that's out of the way, I also have one other thing before we dive into our next questions. We did just launch a poll, so we should do a sneak 4 minutes. I mean, 4 minutes is really nothing. 4-minute sneak peek into a lot of these. You should let us know which ones you want to explore more. So we've got that poll up there, whether, if there's certain ones you want to learn more about, if there's a couple of them, let us know. We're happy to connect you with all these wonderful partners, or have you meet with our strategic team to help you figure out what solutions you need, what order, all those good things. So let us know in the poll. Okay, guys, the first question I had come in was, our sales forecasts are based on basically an educated guess. They said, can inventory optimization actually work for us if we have unreliable demand data? So let you guys figure out who's going to take that one.
I think that's probably me at NetStock. So part of NetStock's forecasting algorithm is dependent on historical demand. We do have the ability to generate, obviously, our forecast, but that's what we use. I think the question would be, why is it unreliable, and is there an opportunity to potentially bridge that gap? We help clients all the time that don't have the cleanest data that we've ever seen. We help them kind of figure out why that's happening, work on their work processes, and see if there's an opportunity to get that data better. So that way that NetStock can use it to have a better forecast for those businesses.
Okay, great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think this is a big one. Someone asked, with everything going on and being so complex, what is the one thing manufacturers and distributors should, prioritize first technology-wise? Or I think, to add to this, I think probably getting things under control, where's the first step? And we might have a couple different answers here. So anyone want to take that away?
I'll start since it's, dealing with warehouse and manufacturing. I think a lot of people we touched on it earlier today. A few points here. We're talking about tariffs and what's coming in and things along those lines. I think that being able to watch your inventory, knowing where it's going, having it available, whether it's back stocks, being able to track it, all of those things are important to allow an organization, a business, to be able to watch, especially as costs have increased, from that standpoint. So I think for a lot of organizations, that weren't looking at automated tools, warehouse management software, inventory controls, EDI solutions, shipping aspects of things. A lot of it has to do now with cost savings and how are they able to do that. And I think that's the biggest thing, that when you look at the 5 solutions here, we all are able to kind of reduce some manual aspects that allow you to kind of, I wouldn't say cut corners, but allow you to kind of reallocate funds in other areas that can help offset some of the increase in tariffs.
I'd add 3 things to that, kind of build on what Benjamin said. And these are things that we can do for you and technology, but also things you can do yourself with, you know, spreadsheets and other ways. I don't recommend that. It's really hard to scale, but you can. So number 1, real-time tracking. So tracking inbound logistics, tracking production, making sure you're getting what you need for your customers so you're hitting their timelines. Number 2, AI-driven risk monitoring. So you can see supplier risk or port risk, other things so you can get ahead of the potential impacts for your production lines. And lastly, run scenarios. So scenario-based planning could be around the inventory, it could be around anything within your manufacturing like operations. But if you run those scenarios, you can see what's working and not working, so you can get ahead of tariff impacts or other changes.
Those are 2 great answers. Does anyone else have anything to add? Perfect. Okay, well, you know, 30 minutes flies by. I have a ton more questions for you guys, but I want to, you know, respect everyone's time on the call. So thank you all for giving us a sneak peek at the solutions you offered. SWK is a close partner with all presenters today. And we really love their solutions, and we would love for you to explore more, whichever one speaks to what your business needs at this time, and really help you find a smarter, easier, safer way to run your business. So thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to everyone out there in the audience. That poll is still open. We're going to send you to another web page where you can select any of these, explore more. We'll send out the recording and the slide deck tomorrow. So if you were worried about, you know, our little heads in the corner blocking some of that information, we will send it out to you. No worries. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you all for taking a little bit of time to share that information with us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Bye.